When my stepchildren looked me dead in the eyes and told me, "You'll never earn our respect, only our tolerance," I felt something inside me snap. I wasn't angry at first. I was just numb. I had done everything for those kids. Clean, showed up at every game, every recital, every school meeting. I thought I was building something, some kind of relationship, maybe not as a mother, but at least as a friend. But that day, I realized I was just an outsider living under the same roof. Tell me, what would you do if the kids you've raised for 5 years told you they only tolerate you? Would you still keep trying, or would you walk away emotionally the same way I did? I guess I should start from the beginning, because it didn't always feel this cold. When I met my husband, Mark, he was already a single father of 2. Emma, who was 15 at the time, and Luke, who was 12. Their mom, Laura, had passed away 3 years earlier in a car accident. Mark had been through hell trying to keep his kids together emotionally. When we met, he was charming, kind, and completely open about his situation. I didn't mind that he had children. I actually admired how devoted he was to them. I was 32, never married. No kids of my own, and I honestly thought this might be my chance at a family. At first, the kids were polite. Distant, but polite. I understood that. They didn't know me. I wasn't trying to replace their mom. I made that clear from day one. I told them, I'm not here to take anyone's place. I just want to get to know you in a minute. But despite my efforts, I always felt like I was walking on eggshells. Emma barely looked at me during dinner, and Luke would talk only to his dad if I wasn't even there. Still, I kept trying. I learned their favorite meals, picked up on their interests, went to their games, helped with projects, did late-night grocery runs when they needed stuff for school. It took months before I felt any real progress. Emma once smiled at me after I complimented her art project. Luke asked me for help with a math problem. Small things, but they felt huge. I thought, maybe this is working. Maybe we're slowly becoming a family. But then their grandmother, Mark's mother, stepped in. She never liked me. From the first day she met me, she said, "You'll never be their mother, so don't act like one." I told her I had no intention of replacing anyone, but she seemed determined to keep me at arm's length. I think her attitude rubbed off on the kids. Every time they came back from her place, they were colder, distant again, as if I had done something wrong. When Mark and I got married, I thought things would improve. The ceremony was small. Emma and Luke were there, standing stiff in their formal clothes, forcing smiles for photos. But later that night, I overheard Emma tell Luke, "She's not our family. Dad just doesn't want to be alone." That crushed me. I wanted to tell Mark, but I didn't want to cause tension between him and his kids. So I just swallowed the pain and told myself it would get better with time. It didn't. Over the next few years, their resentment simmered beneath the surface. Sometimes it came out as passive, aggressive remarks, sometimes as total silence. On holidays, I'd prepare their favorite meals, set the table beautifully, and try to make everything perfect. They'd come downstairs, eat quietly, thank their dad, and go back to their rooms. Never a word to me. On my birthday, they didn't even say happy birthday. Mark would try to talk to them, but they always brushed it off with, "We're fine, Dad. Stop making this a big deal." Then one day, about a year ago, things finally boiled over. It was Emma's 21st birthday. We planned a small family dinner at home. I spent hours cooking her favorite lasagna, even baked her a cake. When she came home with her boyfriend and some friends, she barely acknowledged me. Everyone was laughing, talking, and I just sat there trying to be part of it. When I asked her if she wanted to open her gifts before dessert, she said, "Oh, those can wait." Later that night, after everyone left, I went to the kitchen to clean up and heard her talking to Luke in the living room. She said, "I can't believe she tries so hard. It's kind of pathetic, isn't it? Like she'll never be mom? She needs to stop acting like this is her family." That's when I lost it. I walked in and said, "You know what, Emma? You're right. I'm not your mom. But I've tried every single day to be there for you both. I've never expected you to love me, but I thought maybe you'd at least respect me." Luke just sat there staring at me expressionless. Emma rolled her eyes and said, "You'll never earn our respect, only our tolerance. That's all you're getting, so deal with it." I stood there frozen. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears. Then I just said, "All right then, you want tolerance, you get tolerance." And I walked away. That was the day I stopped. I stopped cooking their favorite meals. I stopped reminding them of appointments. I stopped cleaning up after them. I stopped waiting up when they went out late. I just detached. Not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. I started focusing on myself for the first time in years. I took up painting again, went out with my friends, spent time with my sister. Mark noticed the shift immediately. He asked me what was going on, and I told him everything. I told him about Emma's words, about how I felt invisible in my own home. He was furious at first with me. He said, "You should have told me sooner." But then when he confronted the kids, they doubled down. Emma said, "We're just being honest, Dad. She's not family. Stop forcing this fantasy." Mark tried to make them see how cruel that was, but they wouldn't budge. After that, our household became cold. Dinner was silent. Everyone retreated to their corners. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done if you were in my place? Would you have kept trying, or would you have pulled away too? All right, here's what happened. A few months later, Luke graduated from college. Mark and I went to the ceremony together. Emma was there too, sitting with her friends. We barely exchanged words. But when Luke came on stage to get his diploma, I felt proud anyway, despite everything. I had seen that boy grow up. I clapped, smiled, and even shed a tear. Later at the small celebration dinner, Mark stood up to give a toast. He thanked everyone for coming, then looked straight at me and said, "And to my wife, who has been there for both my kids through everything. You may not hear it often enough, but I know how much she's done for this family. You could have heard a pin drop. Emma's face turned pale. Luke looked away. I didn't say anything, but I saw the discomfort in their eyes. That night, when we got home, Emma texted me. Just 2 words, "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. I didn't know what to say. Over the next few months, she started showing small gestures, asking about my day, joining me for coffee, complimenting my cooking. It wasn't much, but it was something. Luke followed suit. He actually thanked me once for helping him find a good internship years ago. It felt strange, like they were realizing something they should have years ago. But I didn't rush to forgive or forget. I kept my boundaries, kept my peace. Then, earlier this year, Emma came over one evening alone. She sat in the kitchen and said, "I didn't understand before. I thought you were trying to take Mom's place, but now I see you were just trying to make us feel loved. I was angry and I took it out on you. I'm sorry." That was the first time she'd said anything like that in the 8 years I'd known her. I cried. I didn't mean to, but I did. I told her, "Thank you, Emma. That means more than you know." We hugged for the first time ever. Since then, things have been better. Not perfect, but better. Luke calls sometimes just to check in. Emma even invited me to help her plan her wedding next year. I'm not Narv. I know I'll never replace their mom, and I don't want to. But I think, finally, they see me as more than just dad's wife. They see me as someone who genuinely cares. And you know what's funny? It all started when I stopped trying so hard to be accepted. When I finally stepped back and focused on myself, they began to see my worth on their own. Sometimes love isn't about proving yourself. It's about letting people figure it out for themselves. If you've ever been in a situation where you gave everything to someone who didn't appreciate it, remember this. Stepping back isn't giving up. It's giving space for them to grow and for you to heal. So what do you think? Was I wrong to stop trying, or was it the only way to make them see what they had? I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video if you were on my side, subscribe for more real life stories like this, and share your final thoughts on this whole mess. I'll see you all in the next story.